The Brown Park Podcast is brought to you by Grow Clinics. They're leading the way in hair loss treatments in Australia and New Zealand. And for more information, go to growclinics.com.au.
Hey, today... Hello, by the way.
Thank you. How rude. How rude.
It's not a solo show. Hello. We are going to go behind the scenes of one of Australia's top-rating reality TV shows and get all the goss and the drama.
It's going to be interesting to see the difference between what we see on TV and what goes on behind the scenes. I can't wait.
The Brown Park Podcast.
Have you ever wanted to be on reality TV?
Okay, so...
Oh, yes. So
I once lined up to try and get on Australian Idol.
Of course you did.
And then when I realised the breadth of the talent that was in the room, I walked out and went, nah, I'm not doing this. I'll fail miserably.
And how long did you line up for?
Oh, it didn't take me long to work out that I was the lamest in the room.
Oh, but they could have put you in a boy band or something like that, and then your real dream could have come true.
No way. Have you ever done it? Have you ever tried out?
I submitted an application for the second season of Big Brother.
Oh, really?
I did. Because that's all I wanted to be on Big Brother. The first season, I guess, would arguably be the best. And I went, yes, I've got to be a part of that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I didn't even get a call back.
You would be the biggest shit stirrer on Big Brother.
Oh, 100%. And that was the whole reason I wanted to go on it, to see if I could stir up some shit.
Have you ever thought about going on Married at First Sight and just surprising Casey?
I choose life.
Brown Park special guest.
So our guest today is going to take us behind the scenes of Married at First Sight.
This is going to be interesting.
Arguably one of Australia's most controversial TV shows, constantly wins every year. And this guy, Drew Brauer, was a contestant in 2020.
He was probably one of the most authentic people that I've seen on the show. Not that I've watched his show a massive amount, but he was pretty genuine. So I'm looking forward to getting his take on the whole situation.
And we should bring him into the conversation. Drew Brauer, Drew Boy Music. How are you, mate?
G'day, Drew.
Hey, man. How are you?
Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure, mate. Yeah, when I heard what you guys do, I was more than happy to jump on.
I was doing some reading. You do not like reality TV shows, do you? Considering that's where you sort of found your recognition, I guess.
I didn't like reality TV, and then I went on a reality TV show, so go figure.
How'd that happen?
Mate, basically, I haven't watched TV for about at least 8 years. So I watch a little bit of Netflix every now and then, but that's about it.
Yeah.
And I applied for Survivor, like one of the first seasons, like everyone else did. And they must have, I got a fair way through, they must have just chucked me in this pile of people that could be good potentially for any show. Yeah. And then every year, mate, I get a phone call or an email or a message, from a producer from one of these shows. And MAFS reached out a few years ago and they said, we'd love you to be involved. And anyway, I was like, yeah, I get the idea. And basically, I just didn't do any research. I should have watched one episode. I would have fucking known that it wasn't for me.
Story of my life. Excellent.
Yeah, did not do my due diligence, man. So.
Did the title not give it away?
Yeah. Well, I got the concept, and I was like, I'm definitely like a yes man. I always try and say yes to as many things as I can, and up until that point, it worked pretty good for me. So anyway, we live and we learn.
Okay, so knowing what you know now, would you have signed up to do that show?
Not a chance.
Not a chance.
Yeah. No. Look, I'm not one to regret things, but it took me a long time to see the positives for that, and it was just. More than anything, I just, I run a mental health charity. I'm very, very invested in people's mental health. And I was on the second day and I'm like, this show just goes against everything that I stand for. Like every moral fiber in my body was saying, I felt dirty for being on there. Like it's very manipulative and just horrible to people. It literally exploits people's mental health issues. So wasn't for me, but unfortunately you're kind of stuck on there for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So it was...
I was reading on the Daily Mail that basically, that particularly on this reality show, they ply you with alcohol and there's producers sitting there whispering in your ear going, I can't believe that they said this about you. What are you going to say?
Yeah, it's pretty bang on. It's a lot of gaslighting. And I love psychology. So done a lot of my own study with that, and I could see exactly what was going on, and I'm like, this is messed up. So they try and play you against your partner. So basically the idea is either you're going to look bad or she's going to look bad. It's kind of whoever kind of dogs the other person first. And then the same with the other contestants, obviously. And yeah, they try and set you up with other people and get you half pissed and try and make you do stuff that you're going to regret. But,
isn't it interesting though? There's so many young people that want to be on reality TV. Like the goal in life is to be on TV or be on reality TV, but no one really talks about how fucked up it is for not only mental health, but your overall persona, because you just don't know what they're going to do with it, do you?
Well, the funny thing is that if you look at every season of, I think I just winged it and just happened to pick the worst of the worst. I literally, I think it's the worst one you could go on, like for as far as it's very much based around drama and not, authentic or anything. So I ended up on this one, and I think if you watch every season, there's always every second person that goes on it comes out and says the same thing, but no one really listens. Because the allure of, this 5 minutes of fame or, just trying this, this crazy thing is more than all of the warnings from everybody that's ever been on it.
So what's the ride of fame like once you're on this show? Like, you obviously film it a long time prior, and then it gets dropped and released on telly. All of a sudden you become a household name. This show is massive, and it still continues to be massive now for reasons that I still can't understand. But but you are instantly thrust into the spotlight. What does that do for you?
I guess for me, because I've been playing music for a few years before I went on there, so I was kind of used to people, saying hello and knowing who I was and all that. Yeah. But for me, it happened at the perfect time. So I came out of it. I went home. And it was very surreal to go back home and act like nothing's happened, after the biggest 6 weeks of your life, where your whole life's just been turned upside down. And I was really struggling with my own mental health by the end of it. Yeah. And then you go back to normal life and you can't talk about it or tell anybody. And this massive thing is looming and coming, and it's going to be on TV, and then everyone's going to know about it. But then I went down to Brisbane and recorded a song down there, and then COVID hit. So we basically went straight into isolation while Mass was still playing. So I missed out on most of the hype around it when it was actually on air, because we're all isolating. But I think that was the best for me, because I wasn't kind of interested in that side of it anyway. But it was good for me. So I missed out on all the craziness around it. Obviously, the inbox on the Instagram was blowing up, and there's some pretty wild stuff happening there. But apart from that, as you could imagine,
that was going to be a question. I was going to ask you about that. What is the social media side of things? Because I've spoken to a couple of the contestants of this year's show, and they said the level of social media interaction and the kind of comments you get are just out of this world.
Yeah, I was super lucky, because I think they have a very good, no one's on there by accident. They know exactly what personality you do, psych tests, you do, hundreds of interview questions. They know exactly what you like and why you're on there. So I just think I was very lucky that I was the nice guy. I was meant to be, play the part of a nice guy. So I came out with a lot of positive comments and reviews, and it wasn't so bad like that. But some of the other people that were on there that were genuinely nice people were just not shown the same way, and were just, they really, really copped it, and I really felt for them. So,
And when you came out of it, and did you fall into the mental health? Did you suffer the mental health issues after the show, trying to process what the fuck just happened?
Mainly during. So once I got back out, I was fine, because I'm surrounded by my support network. I can work out again. I'm back in my, my comfort zone. I'm back up in Cairns. But during that 6 weeks, man, it's I run a mental health charity. I'm very on top of my own health and my own mental health. And, that's literally my job, is to help other people through hard times. And I was struggling, man. By the end of it, I was just a fragile fucking piece of what I was when I went in there. And it's, late nights, there's no structure. You might be starting early in the morning, or you might be starting late in the afternoon. Sometimes you shoot until 3 or 4 in the morning for those dinner show things. the diet is shit house. Like, they don't feed you good food. You don't really have time to work out. You can't talk to any of your mates. So it's pretty hardcore. And then you got to deal with the emotional, the emotional challenges of what's going on in the experiment, as well as, considering what is going to be shown and what everyone's going to think about the whole thing, So
yeah,
full on.
Brown Talk.
Big thanks to our sponsor, Grow Clinics. How's your head?
I had a haircut today, and it's always
really?
it's nice to go to there. Look, I got nice and short on the sides, and
Oh, yeah.
it's good. Before I used to hate getting a haircut, but now I've got hair to cut.
Well, I always used to tell my barber to cut it forward.
Cut it for what does that even mean?
Well, so there was enough bits to cover up my bald spots.
Oh, yeah, I see.
So
the
that I
same
could
thing,
sort of brush it forward a little bit, and that covers up the gaps in my hair.
Yeah.
But not anymore, because Grow Clinics are leading the way in hair loss treatments in Australia and New Zealand. They offer the most refined hair transplant technique available with natural results guaranteed. The best thing you can do is, if you're feeling self-conscious about your hair, go and check out their website, growclinics.com.au. They have a range of hair loss options that are suitable for people who aren't quite ready for a hair transplant yet. But if you go to growclinics.com.au, you can book a free consultation and find out more, and tell them, please, that Brown Park sent you.
For the love of God.
We have to say thanks to our sponsors, Manscaped, for jumping on board the Brown Park podcast.
Thank you, guys.
And I've done it.
What did you do?
I used the lawnmower.
What? On said area?
On said area. I have never done that before.
Haven't you?
No.
Your poor wife.
No. I've trimmed, but with scissors and stuff, but never with the lawnmower 4.0.
Scissors. Nah, that just scares the hell out of me. No.
But smooth as I want to say baby's bottom, but that's not the way to say it.
It's as smooth as a hairless cat.
There we go. And not too dissimilar. The other thing that I've been trying out a lot is the weed whacker. It's so good.
For those of you that can't see it, he is doing it right now.
Getting lots of weeds.
You can actually hear it when it's
Yeah, I know.
given to the hairs. You're like, oh my God, how many nose hairs did I have right now?
And it doesn't hurt. I thought this was going to hurt. And there is no pain at all.
Perfect.
Anyway, we've got to say thanks to them for jumping on board, because they've got a special code for anybody that needs the Weed Whacker or the Lawnmower 4.0 or any of their products. Were you just picking the hair out of your nose?
I was getting concerned that maybe I had one, and I'm like, oh, is that? But I've been using the Weed Whacker, so I don't.
I've used it a lot. So they've put on a special code for any Brown Park podcast listener who wants to jump online at manscaped.com. Put in the code
Brown Park 20.
and you will get 20% discount off any of their products and free shipping anywhere in the world.
How good is that?
Manscaped.com. Brown Park 20 is the code. Use it and get rid of the excessive hair in your life.
Brown Park.
So I guess we move on to your mental health charity, and I guess I wouldn't mind unpacking that a little bit as well. So you're dealing with people with mental illnesses now?
So Kick On's a registered mental health charity that I started about 5 years ago. We're very much focused in the prevention space, so we don't so much deal with people, in the acute zone that are really having a hard time and need to be, professional help. So we do courses, we do programs for school kids, and I talk to a lot of people that are struggling off, away from Kick On a personal level, whether it's a friend of a friend or someone that reaches out through Kick On, but that's kind of not our space.
How do you, what kind of situations are you finding yourself in with these people that you're dealing with at the moment?
Mate,
especially since COVID's been so prevalent.
Yeah, well, it's funny. Like I think breakups are kind of my specialty. If I had to have one, and I've been through a few pretty good ones myself, and it sounds weird, but when I talk to somebody that's going through a breakup, I really get excited, and they can tell because when I'm talking about it, and it's just such an amazing opportunity to make positive change for yourself and to reinvent yourself, and just it can be. You hear this all the time. It sounds so cliche, but this will be the best thing that ever happened to you, and that's totally a choice that's up to you and the decisions that you make after it. So yeah. I was lucky enough to make all the wrong decisions and get to rock bottom, and then start making a lot of right decisions after that. And I feel like my kind of my calling is to help other people through it as well, you know. So,
and would you ever be a mental health advocate on Married at First Sight, or would that just be pointless because you just sit there and go, don't fucking do it,
don't be on here.
Yeah, go to Survivor, go on Survivor.
I don't think I'll ever get the call up for that, man. They weren't too happy after I was on there for a few days because they could tell that I wasn't really playing along. And
well, you did come out with a hat that said, what was it? I wouldn't go on there. I'd rather be stabbed in the eye than go on Married at First Sight.
So good.
Probably one of my favourite purchases since the show. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think I'm going to get the call up to go on and be a mental health advocate on there. They did have a psychologist on there, but it was very like anything you said to the psych would go back to the producers and it'd be used against you. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's pretty like the whole setup, man, is just awful.
Skewed towards drama.
Well, it's interesting because when I was watching I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here earlier this year, and Bo Ryan was on it, and he was suffering because of the lack of food, and he actually said, I thought this was going to be a walk in the park. I thought this was just all for show and that I'd get here and there'd be food, but there's no food. And so I think like a lot of these people don't know what they're getting themselves into prior to signing on the dotted line.
Well, especially if you don't research it, Drew.
Yeah, look, and I'll own that because I guarantee if I had watched like just a couple of episodes, I would have seen exactly what it was like. And it's just not for me, you know, like Survivor or something like that would be way more, you know, kind of.
That's a mental test. I mean, that's a mental and physical test. I mean, I think that appeals to quite a few of us. That's, yes, it's reality TV, but you're also testing your body and your mind as well. You're not just there for the drama, you know.
Yeah. The funniest thing is I come out and, you know, obviously a lot of the people that follow me love the show, and people that come up and talk to me love the show or hate it. And it's funny because I can't relate to that because I never liked it before, and I definitely don't like it. Like I've never watched an episode since. I didn't even watch all the episodes that I was on, and which made the interviews quite hard.
Yeah,
to do. Radio stations.
What?
I probably chatted to you at one point during all those chats.
Yeah, we probably did.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a wild ride because you speak to them now. What's your relationship with the person on, well, your wife? I mean, it's not a legal marriage, right? It's not a legal marriage. It's because it's just not. You're not allowed to do that. But
yeah, we don't talk now. We tried to for a while, and like to be honest, we got along better after the show was finished because, yeah, look, I'll just say that I think we're at very different stages of growth. You know, both of us. So we weren't put together to last. Like we're total opposites. I was literally, you know, she went on and she said that she didn't want a farmer. And like I grew up on a sheep and cattle farm. I said I didn't want, you know, a fake kind of Instagram model. And she was like in the Pussycat Dolls. And, you know, it was just so blatantly obvious that we were just put together for friction, you know. So it wasn't really fair on her, and she was very invested in it. And pretty high maintenance.
So what were the conversations like behind the scenes when they knew you weren't playing along?
Oh man, I was like literally getting yelled at by producers.
Really?
My producer hated me. I've never met anybody that like I genuinely couldn't get along with, and that, you know, that I could find something to like about them, and, you know, like I'd win them over. But yeah, this chick just had it in for me. And I don't know whether that was just, you know, a part of her tactic to kind of wind me up a bit. But yeah, her and my wife on the show were very matey and got along really well because they were the same kind of person, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, man, it was it was tough. I was getting double teamed. I was getting slammed every end.
Just what you need too.
The cameraman and the audio guys all of those guys were amazing, and most of the producers were really cool as long as they weren't your producer. But obviously they've got a job to do, and the job is to push you to your limits and get drama out of you. So we bunded heads a fair bit. Even had the cameraman and audio guy came up and gave me a hug after one episode, like after one filming, one shoot, and they just said, man, that was the most brutal thing I've ever seen in my life. And they're just like, are you all right?
And people still choose to go on this, even though they heed the warning.
Well, it's a young people's allure of fame and just what they see. I mean, it's like Instagram. You only see the highlights, yeah?
Yeah, and obviously, everyone signs a 30-page contract that you can't talk bad about the show or about Channel 9.
For how long?
For at least 12 months.
Okay. Well, you're well outside of that, so let's go.
Yeah. Well, then everybody that was on there came out and sold stories, and like a lot of the guys did that anyway. So I don't know what the contract's just kind of a bit of a fear thing, because Channel 9 aren't going to, it's still publicity. Channel 9 aren't going to chase people up and do a lawsuit.
Well, it's the same. It's the old adage, isn't it? Any publicity is good publicity, and they want publicity for Married at First Sight. It continues. Like I said, God knows how to still raid its pants off now. Literally raid its pants off, but raid its pants off
train
now.
wreck, mate.
Yeah,
the train wreck. You just can't look away from it.
No, and you were on it. What was your family's reaction to it all?
They all thought it was a joke at the start, because they obviously all got invited to the wedding. So that's the other thing. I had 6 days. They rang up and they said, I did the application process the year before when they asked me to go on it. I got right to the end, and then they said, oh, sorry, we didn't find anybody for you. So I was like, yeah, cool. I forgot about it totally. The next year they ring up and they say, are you still single? We found somebody. You get married in 6 days. So,
oh, Jesus.
Yeah, like there was no prep. I had 6 days to pack up my whole life, to write vows for someone I've never met, like do all this crazy stuff, get STD checks and medicals. And,
oh, really? I guess they have to, don't they?
They screen you for everything, and then pick 20 people to come to the wedding, invite them. Like I had to pack up my whole life. It was the most stressful 6 days of my life until I got on the show.
Well, but that's what I love about all of this, and part of what Christo and I are all about is saying yes to opportunity and just saying yes to life. So commendable that you went, you know what? Let's just see where this goes. Who would have known that?
Well, mate, like
it was
in that 6 days, I'm like, I was obviously doing some deep pondering, and I'm like, I know that there's probably a fair chance these guys don't have my best interest at heart. Like it's a TV show. Like I'm not stupid. I got the concept of it, and I wasn't born yesterday. But I was like, if I don't do it, I know there's 100% chance that I'll always think, what would have happened? What would have been like? Maybe I could have met someone. Like all of these questions, and I'm like, I knew there was probably a 50% chance that I would regret it if I went on it, but. You got to take these chances, I think.
But aren't we better off to regret the decisions we've made than the ones we haven't? So, I mean, it's given you a platform to launch a great charity helping so many people. So, whilst there's a negative that was in it at the time, the flip side of that has given you another platform, I guess, too, yeah?
Yeah. There's positives after. It was just the 6 weeks being in there that was the worst part. I shouldn't have watched that bloody Jim Carrey movie, that Yes Man.
Yeah, I reckon that movie's probably done a lot for a lot of people. I reckon
probably led to a lot of bad decisions.
And the same,
but
thing,
a lot of good stories too.
Isn't that that Netflix doco that's the Yes Day, where you've just got to say yes to everything?
Yeah, we did that here. We did that with our daughter. Funnily enough, we said, "All right, we're going to say yes," and we said yes to everything for a whole day.
Do you tell the daughter this, or do you just
yeah? No. We did it. So we said, all right, tomorrow's yes day. Mum and Dad can't say no to anything. So we did it, and we just went, all right. Well, there's some kind of a budget, because we're not going to go fly to fucking Hamilton Island or anything. But essentially, whatever she wanted to do for the day, we said yes to, and it was a great family day out, and we're going to do it every year, but. It was amazing, and we wanted to teach her that, in life, unless you ask, you're never going to get. So just ask, and for the day, we're going to say yes.
Okay, and tomorrow's no day.
Yeah,
tomorrow's we're staying the fuck home day.
Did yes day continue after she went to bed?
Brown Pop.
A big thank you to our sponsors, Grow Clinics. I had somebody pull on my hair the other day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, not kinky.
Oh.
They wanted to know how it was all done and is it real? And I've gone, pull it. And they did. And they went, oh, my God. So where did they get your hair from? And I'm like, the back of my head. That's how it works.
Yes, nice.
The interesting thing with Grow Clinics is they don't only deal with receding hairlines, they deal with other facets of hair loss as well. So if you want to just get your crown done because that's where you're losing it, they do that. I saw somebody do their beard because they couldn't possibly grow any facial hair, so they had a beard transplant.
Very impressed that the technology is there to do that.
But even down the track, they had a full beard and it grows. It was incredible. Look, either which way, they offer natural results and they guarantee them as well. They've got clinics in Brisbane, the Gold Coast, Melbourne, Sydney and Perth. And if you want to go and check out what they can do with your hair and your hairline, book a free consultation on growclinics.com.au, because once you're there and they've drawn that line on your head and you see where your new hairline is going to be, you will be hooked, I guarantee it.
It's so good.
That's growclinics.com.au for a free consultation and tell them that Brown Park sent you. Manscaped.com are proud sponsors of the Brown Park podcast, and proper grooming, down there, requires precision engineered tools. Now, not only do a man's sensitive areas require it, but hygiene demands it. And that's where Manscaped comes in there with their skin safe technology. They have replaceable ceramic blades on their Lawnmower 4.0. This is their patented ball trimmer.
I love it.
It's also waterproof, so you can actually use it in the shower. So it makes cleaning up a lot easier than having random pubes going all over the bathroom.
Do it in the shower, your wife will thank you.
Also, it's got an extremely powerful performance and multiple different levels of which you can shave your downstairs area. Make sure you jump on manscaped.com. At the moment, you can use BrownPark20 as the code, and that will get you 20% off all products and international shipping as well. So jump on manscaped.com and put in BrownPark20.
Brown Park.
So also, how did you then branch out into nutrition? You've got health under control. You've got married. You got mental health under control. You got married at first sight that brings it all crashing down, and now you're doing nutrition. Do you worry that you spread yourself too thin?
Yeah, mate. This is a big concern for me. I think the biggest struggle in my life is balance. So I'm so grateful, man. I love everything that I get to do. Like, I play music on weekends, so I'm a musician.
Well, yeah, because you've had singles out under Drew Boy.
Yeah, well, that's how I earn. That's actually how I earn my living. So I do that. I've been a full-time muso for, probably 4 or 5 years.
Yep.
And then during the week, I work for the charity. So I don't charge a wage to the charity because it's, I started it. And then All Good Nutrition has come along in the last 12 months. And yeah, I don't know. I love every aspect of it. The hardest part is just finding time for, and I train jiu-jitsu 2 hours every day, and, it doesn't leave much time for anything else. So, but yeah, I love it. And All Good's gone really, really well. So, it's just another aspect of health and your mental health. And yeah, it's awesome, man. I'm loving the journey.
And have you found love?
Yeah, I have actually. I've been, I think I'm just coming up to my 12-month anniversary. So very, very lucky, very happy with my partner, Sam, who I actually dated quite a few years ago. So we've, they say never go back to your ex, but it's been amazing. So
yeah, good one.
Oh, wow. So
yeah.
Did she see you on the journey? I mean, I guess you came out pretty clean on that season. So there's no real sort of dirt there, is there?
Nah, there's no dirt. I think just being on there is the dirt. But as far as making decisions on camera, I was pretty, I was trying not to do anything too bad. And, the whole thing before I went on, I was like, they can't make me look bad. I'm not going to say anything that I regret. I'll just be myself. Yeah. And, it's like if you're having a conversation with someone, they can't take it out of context. They can. With editing, it's crazy. The first episode of my wedding, they edited in a little stutter and maybe looked dodgy when I asked a question. And I was like, really set me up for this controversy around me banging my housemate, which I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So, and this became this massive thing, and she got pulled into it, and there's news articles about her just because I live with a female housemate. And I was like, yeah. It was mental.
Yeah.
And I guess too, I mean, to talk about your music for a second, it's been because we've got friends in the arts that have struggled so much throughout the last 2 years in COVID, because essentially their incomes dried up. So, I mean, how have you gone over the last couple of years trying to navigate bringing your money, starting a charity, and everything that you're doing now? I mean, because the last 2 years have been rough for anyone in the arts.
Yeah, let's just say the bank account doesn't look good as it did a couple of years ago. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I'm lucky. Like I set myself up pretty well when I was a sparky and working away, and bought a few houses, and I've got investment properties and stuff. but yeah, look, it's been tough. I'm not going to lie. Like the music aspect, I basically had 12 months off, which, looking back, it was probably one of the best 12 months of my life though. Like I went back home with my family. My whole family is in this little country town on the farm. We just spent time with, my brother and, his newborn. And it was just this beautiful time, just went back out and worked on the farm, and it was great, very grounding. But yeah, the music industry has suffered brutally, and it still is. Like even now, like I'll get a call and, gigs are just getting cancelled left, right and center, and people had to play a lot of weddings and corporate stuff, and a lot of that just gets, cancelled last minute because of COVID flare-ups and stuff. So it hasn't. Hopefully, we're looking at the light at the end of the tunnel, though.
Yeah, I think so.
Any more music on the horizon?
Mate, I've got 5 or 6 singles sitting there that are finished, ready to go. I just need music videos, and basically the only thing holding me up is time to go and do them. So I might even just drop some without music videos, but I just don't like half-assing anything. But hopefully within the next couple of months I can pull my finger out and squeeze that into the schedule.
Well, Drew, thank you very much. Oh, where can we reach you, by the way? If anybody wants to get hold of you and that sort of thing, where can they find you?
Mate, just if you type in Drew Boy, one word, like Google it, or, there's a website, there's Instagram, Facebook, all of the usual things. All the music's on iTunes and Spotify and all of the digital platforms. But, just reach out. If you've got any questions, feel free to send me a message.
And your charities?
Charities, Kick On
How do we
Charity.
find that?
Yep. So, again, just Google Kick On. We've got a website there, kickon.com.au. All Good Nutrition is the same. You guys will find it. It's all on my page as well on my Instagram. So
nice one.
The beauty of the digital age, we can always, find something pretty easy. So
nice one. Drew, mate, thanks very much for sharing your story with us today, mate.
No, anytime, guys. I love what you're doing with the podcast. Anything mental health related, I'm all about it. So appreciate your time.
Good one. Yeah, and I think what the reason that we wanted you on was because reality TV's, as we mentioned earlier on in the podcast, that so many young people want a part of it, but they don't actually show the ramifications or what it actually does to your mental health coming out. Yeah,
my first bit of advice would be just don't do it. But a second, I think if you knew exactly what it was, it's all bullshit, and you're going on there to get an Instagram profile to fucking sell teeth whitening kits or whatever you want to do. Well, it might be a good business model, but just prepare yourself, because they will, most of the people on there have mental health issues that they're like, oh, this guy will be great because, he's like this. Yeah, like this guy's fucking misogynistic. Let's get him on here and fucking put him with some, feminist chick, and they're going to fucking blow up, like it's literally, it's so obvious. It's painful to look at.
Can I ask another question just while we're rolling still? What's it like when you're standing at the altar and you're waiting for this woman that you have no idea who it is? Were you nervous? Were you just like, oh, this is just TV? Were you like excited that maybe this might be the one? Or
I was shitting my pants. Like that's all real. So the wedding, I'll say this, the wedding was amazing. Like apart from being a very long day where you film shit over and over and you don't really get to spend any time with the bride, but that moment's real. So you turn around, you've been waiting, this hype. I've been waiting for a full 6 days for this.
Yeah.
The build up was huge.
Oh, amazing. So you turn around and you've never seen her before. And, the chick that I was with was hot as. So it was crazy. And I've got all my family and friends there, and she's got all hers there. And, you read these vows, and, the excitement there is pretty, like, it's probably the most excited I've ever felt, just you've got 50 cameras around. Like it's hectic. The energy is just crazy. And then it just dwindles away from there.
At what point did you realize she was not the one?
Oh, probably the next day. We probably got to talk, like how long do you meet someone before you realize whether you're going to be friends or not? Sometimes it's instant.
Yeah.
But we didn't get to talk much that day. There was definitely attraction there. So we had that, but it was, the next day when we started actually talking about life and experience and, just real shit without the cameras. And then I was like, oh.
You actually get a chance to talk to them without the cameras?
Well, so we had the wedding. You hardly get to talk. Everything they want caught on camera. So even you sleep in the same bed, right? So when you go on there, you can talk all you want, but they don't want you talking about any big stuff that's storyline or which is impossible. Like everybody does. You've never met this person before. What are you going to talk about? You're trying to get to know them.
You've just moved.
But yeah, so we got in trouble all the time, man.
Yeah, and sorry, Dion, what was that? You just nailed them.
No talking.
No talking.
Oh man, yeah, it was, and there was crazy stuff with that too. Like, I went in there thinking like, this is national TV. My whole family's watching it. I don't know what other people do on there, but like, I didn't want to be, fucking hooking up and having sex the whole time, and so I had it in my head that
sounds terrible.
Yeah, I know. Well, I had it in my head that like I didn't want to have sex while I was on the show. Yeah. So we get halfway in, and this, she wants to go. She wants to go on the second night, and I'm like just trying to, take it steady, and poor me, right? This
it sounds like a horrible situation, and I don't know how you managed
it. It built up into this huge thing where I've got like her whole family asking if I'm gay, and this is on TV, and I'm thinking, what the fuck is going on here? I've got producers trying to pressure me into doing it. They're leaving condoms on the side table, and it's like, wow. Dude, if this was the other way around, and the girl,
oh my god,
I'd be in jail.
Could you imagine that? Yeah, could you imagine that? What a sexist pig you'd be.
It was full on. It was, and this girl didn't have much. Like, it was hard to have a conversation about things without her getting triggered and thinking that I was like in there to fuck her over, or it was pretty wild.
Well, so, you're just a pretty straight up Aussie dude that just you lead a simple life and you just want the simple things. I think from what I can tell, your wife at the time was potentially quite the opposite.
Yeah, we're just at the opposite ends of the spectrum on a lot of big life issues, like every big like real thing that we talked about, we were just at opposite ends. So we were just so polarized the whole time. I was like, all of these things are in the questionnaires. And it's like, that's when you're starting to think, all right, cool. And they're in your ear the whole time saying, if you don't like this person, why are you here? Are you here for the right reasons? Like, Australia's going to hate you because the experts have selected this girl. She's perfect for you. And here you are, thinking that it's not going to work. And it's like, yeah, very, very much gaslighting and just like, oh shit, man. Like, and then you get away and you talk to a few of your mates and they're like, no, man, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
You've got nothing, you've got no one to bounce it off while you're in there. So by the end of it, you're starting to like, I was starting to lose it. I really felt like I was starting to lose who I was. And, if I was, why am I here? Am I doing the right thing? Like, fuck, am I fucking going mad? Like, it was wild, man.
So you couldn't even call the boys to just censor check everything? Like, what's the communication between, what's communication like when you're in on it?
You have your phone. So a lot of shows don't. This show in particular, you're allowed to have your phone, but like I said, they're on you all the time. Like, you can't talk about anything about the show. Like, and then I get out of it and I realize a lot of the other guys did. They didn't care about the contract. They did whatever they wanted, But I was kind of trying to do the right thing by myself, but I was also trying to do the right thing by the person I was in there with. And I didn't want her to be thrown under the bus and look like an asshole either. And I knew that like she'd been through a hard life, and that was why she acted the way she did a lot of times. And I can see that, like, a lot of it was trauma based and stuff. And I was like, I can empathize with that, but at the same time, I'm getting just smashed. Yeah. So it was so hard, man. It was so hard, like, just to try and think whether I'm doing the right thing, and yeah.
So
tough.
You were getting smashed, and they just wanted you to smash.
Yeah, that's it. They just wanted me to bite. They wanted me to smash.
And what were your mates or your boys saying when you were contacting them throughout the process? What were they just like hanging there, or what was?
I didn't really. There was one night when things really tipped over the top, and I gave one of my mates a call. That was probably one of the funniest nights in there. Actually, like my ex-wife and I had this massive fight, and everyone left, and the producers left, and she's inside, and I'm like, I've got to my limit. I went out the back, and I'm like, I've got to call my mate. So I called one of my mates that was actually at the wedding, so he knew about the whole thing anyway. And then I was talking to him and just having a vent and just letting it all go. And then I seen the back door of this house open, And I was like, what's going on there? And I walked around. This is it's probably 11 o'clock at night. I walked around and here's my wife on her hands and knees down, like with her ear against the window, listening to everything that I was saying.
Oh my God, I thought you were actually going to say she was doing something else then when you said she was down. Like,
unfortunately not, no. Anyway, like all these messed up things happen the whole way through. And then the producers come in the next day and they say, first, they just rip strips off me. They say, you're not allowed to, what are you doing? You know better. You shouldn't be talking about this or that. And I'm like, dude, this chick is just, she cornered me and wouldn't take no for an answer, because I'll be like, hey, we're not supposed to talk about this. Like, you know, let's just talk about it tomorrow. And she would just like, it'll be a fight. It's on. And I was like, fuck. So I can't win. And then the next day the producer would come in and then she'd fight me. And I was like, fuck. And then I'd have to recreate it on camera and get fought again. And I'm just like, oh, dude, it was draining.
Yeah, what a nightmare.
Imagine that.
Well, mate, thank you very much for opening up about the experiences of Married at First Sight. My God, apart from the fact that I am married and I have kids, I won't be going on that show.
Zero potatoes. Yeah, I strongly recommend looking at your wife before you marry her.
or at least asking her permission, yeah?
Consensual marriages only.
Nice, Drew. Thanks very much for your time, man.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
Who would have thought reality TV isn't what you see on the box?
I'm shocked, quite frankly. I am shocked.
I am bitterly shocked, and I don't know if I can watch it again. And it just goes to show how bad it is for anyone's mental health to go on a show like that.
Yeah, but people continue to do so.
Well, because everybody wants their 5 minutes of fame.
Anyway, a big thanks to Drew. Go and check out the show notes. The links to him are there, or you can find him on Instagram and all that kind of stuff. Drew Boy Music is his Instagram handle, and TikTok, I think, as well.
And check out his charity. He's got Kick On Charity, which supports mental health. So if you could jump on board with that, that'd be great too. And as always, if you hear this podcast and you like it, please give it a rating on the place that you downloaded it from. And you can go and check out brownpark.com.au for all the details about everything that we do here on the show, and show your support as well. Dion, see you next time. Scratch your laughter.
Scratch your laughter?
Scratch you laughter. See you later, scratch your laughter. You'll scratch you and you'll laugh.
That's not a thing.
It is a thing. It is a thing because I made it a thing.
Okay.
The Brown Podcast.